You may recall my guest, Graham Hancock, by great waves of popular demand and a U.S. tour, and I guess a quick trip to Japan, Graham is back, and I suspect that we have him this evening because his time zones probably are as fouled as time zones can get. Once you do enough flying, it all mixes together after a while. He is author of Fingerprints of the Gods, The Message of the Sphinx. It is an area of great fascination to many people. Let me give you the call-in numbers, because tonight, it's your turn. Graham Hancock. Hi, Graham.
Hi, Art. How you doing?
Oh, great. Welcome to the program. Where are you now?
Washington, D.C.
Washington, D.C.
Recovering from a 13-hour flight from Tokyo, Japan, as you rightly observed.
Yeah.
And I must say, these long flights really are. It does make you begin to realize that we really do live on a planet, and that it revolves as you fly into and out of darkness.
That's right.
You see the curvature of the Earth beneath you, and how small and how precious it all is, and how we are affected incredibly by the rhythms of life on this planet.
How are your rhythms? Are you?
Well, I'm not quite sure when I am or where I am, but I feel pretty good.
Well, your U.S. book tour was a smashing success, was it not?
It went very, very well, and in fact I was in Japan for the same reason, because Fingerprints of the Gods was published in Japan 3 months ago, and it's just been an extraordinary success there. In fact, when I arrived, they announced that they'd sold 750,000 copies, 750,000 copies in 3 months. So
oh my gosh!
It's just gone completely crazy in Japan, and I was very excited by the visit. They're very, to my surprise, a very open-minded and welcoming people, and I had a great time there.
Graham, that's a good general question. Why do you think that this whole genre of investigation, this whole area, has gone so absolutely crazy? I mean, it just is exploding all over the world, not just here in the U.S.
That's right. It's a universal phenomenon. It's happening everywhere, and I think that what it is that people are waking up everywhere to the big questions, getting less focused on trivial day-by-day issues, and asking themselves very, very large questions about who we are and why we are here, and what is, and you know, it sounds like the ultimate cliche, but what is the meaning of life? What is it all for? Yes. People are asking themselves these questions all around the world, and what the answer that they're coming to, first and foremost, is that what we've been spoon-fed for the last century by our governments and by Orthodox religion and by our economists and by social leaders of all kinds is just not satisfactory at all. And people are looking in a much bigger framework these days and asking very large questions and looking for information that it just has not been made generally available. So people are on a quest. They're searching. They're looking. And this is leading.
All right, if I ask you that question, Graham, how do you answer? What, that's the biggie. What is the meaning of life? What does Graham Hancock think it is?
Well, I'll tell you what I think it is. To the best that I can say, I think it's a mystery. I think life is a spiritual mystery. I didn't think this 10 or 15 years ago. I really did think that we were just a kind of chemical accident, a fairly unfortunate chemical accident at that. I've completely changed my view on all of these issues, and I think that we're involved in a very, very mysterious process that has to do with perfecting and equipping ourselves, preparing ourselves for something bigger and something beyond. I've come to regard life as an extraordinary opportunity to learn and to grow and to develop. And I don't think that anything that we learn, any experience that we encounter, any challenge that we overcome is wasted. I think it's all part of something that we add to ourselves as we go along. And I think that every time we take refuge in illusions of safety and security and fail to take the opportunities that life throws at us to transcend ourselves, I think we're letting ourselves down very, very badly. I've come to believe passionately that consciousness can and does survive death. And since I do believe that, I think that every moment I spend on this planet is precious and must not be wasted. And that's a view I honestly and genuinely try to communicate to everybody I talk to.
So perhaps the meaning is not designed to be discerned. Maybe the meaning is the quest itself.
The meaning, you're absolutely right, Art. The meaning is the quest itself. This is the journey of life. It's to discover as best we can who and what we are. And because I have been immersed in ancient texts and ancient wisdom for so long now, I no longer ridicule such notions as reincarnation. I think probably we do come back in all kinds of different experiences and lifetimes, because one lifetime is not enough. There's a continual process of learning and growing and developing, and all the ancient religions say that eventually we reach a moment when we do transcend. And for the ancient Egyptians, the ultimate objective was to become a star. Imagine that, become a star, become a sun in the sky, distributing life throughout the universe, full of light and warmth and altruism.
All right, Graham,
can
I ask you just a straight-out question? I had somebody, after your last appearance, they called me up and they said, it's ridiculous, we could build the pyramids. Who's to say we couldn't build the pyramids? What is the evidence that we could not build the pyramids, or could not have then built the pyramids? What is the best evidence?
Well, the best evidence is that we haven't done it. We haven't built the pyramids, nor anything like them. We've built temporary, ugly, meaningless pieces of architecture all around the world that are not connected to any powerful spiritual force. You see, the pyramids, the three great pyramids of Egypt and the Great Sphinx, are much, much more than just three massive buildings.
Yes.
They are a place of spiritual transformation. They have an extraordinary effect upon the soul. And there is nothing that we build today which does that or which has that effect, because we have lost the knowledge of how to do so. Perhaps if we were to expend an enormous quantity of skill and effort and ingenuity, perhaps we could create something like the Great Pyramid. Although I can tell you there have been two attempts in modern times, one by an American team and one by a Japanese team, to build a pitiful little 30-foot high pyramid.
And what happened?
And they both failed.
They failed.
The Great Pyramid is more than 450 feet tall and weighs 6 million tons. These two modern attempts attempted to do the job, first of all, using what they thought was the technology that was used in the building of the pyramids. And you have to understand that according to Orthodox theory, the ancient Egyptians had very simple copper tools. They didn't have the wheel or anything like this. So initially both of these teams, one was from Waseda University in Japan, another involved Mark Lehner of the Oriental Institute of the University of Chicago. They tried to do the job with simple tools. And the Japanese attempt was a total disaster, and Mark Lehner and his team managed to build 1/3 of their pitiful little 30-foot tall pyramid before giving up. And what both of these attempts demonstrated, the Japanese actually had to give up using so-called ancient technology and started trying to use cranes, and even this failed. It was a dismal, laughable joke, and it shows that we don't actually even have the technical ability to do that job with that perfection on that scale. But the technical ability, to me, is much less interesting than the spiritual effect of these monuments.
How could they have done it, Graham?
Well, they knew something. They knew something, many things that we do not know. And actually, I don't know how they did it. All I know is they didn't do it the way that our Orthodox scholars tell us they did do it. That I'm sure of, as sure as I can be of anything on the face of this earth. They didn't build it with teams of unwilling workers and ramps a mile long. No, it wasn't done that way.
All right, before we go to the phones, this is very important. I got in fact, several panicked communications. This is really interesting, Graham, from some people up in the Bay Area in San Francisco.
Yeah.
after the last program we did.
Mm-hmm.
And they were very, very concerned about the commercialization of the opening of the Sphinx.
Yes, I'm very
Chamber of
concerned
Blue.
about it.
I know you are. And but they wanted to do something, so they called the Egyptian embassy.
Mm-hmm.
And the person there